feel that you'd be able to portray, your character well? How did you feel, looking at the cast, how did you feel that, what was your gut feeling?
Well, for the first movie, I really felt like I was kind of like a utility player. I was there. Craglin is there as the first script I read. His name was the first mate, and so he's just kind of texture. He's in the background to be Yondu's right-hand man and really sort of serve the purpose of showing this team of Ravagers that are under Yondu. And then also playing Rocket on set, which is something that I was hired to do, but I didn't have any idea what that process entailed. And that was something we had to actually work out through the rehearsals and figuring out what the best way to do it was. But to answer your question, I loved the cast. It was a really cool group of people. They were less known then than they are now. Chris had come from doing mostly television, and Bautista was a total newcomer for the most part. And just to sort of see those guys get to work on the first day was like, oh, this could be really something special.
And seeing as he's not here yet, what was it like working with Michael?
Oh, it's awful.
Yeah, that's what we said. Yeah, that's what you told me in the green room.
Yeah.
Also, if you're looking at the Guardians as well, it can be really difficult to see where they fit in. You've got the Avengers, and you've got, where do you see? I wanted to ask you guys where you see yourselves fitting in. You're almost like a sort of an indie.
Well, I think that the whole point of the Guardians is that they don't really fit in. I mean, that's the whole point of that group of heroes, is that they realized that they were all individuals who didn't fit in where they were, and they found a family in coming together and joining together with this sort of group of different parts. So yeah, I don't feel like they fit right in, and even in the Avengers movies, which were so much fun to shoot, and there's so many great people working on those films. But yeah, the Guardians at times feel a little bit out of place. I think even at the end of Endgame, when you see that massive shot where you see everybody there, it's a little odd to see the Guardians there with other people, and I think that's sort of the point. I think they should feel a little out of place.
It did to me when I heard that the Guardians were going to be, when we're looking at the timeline of Avengers, and all of a sudden the Guardians are going to be there, and I was, whoa, okay, how is this going to fit? Because they're quite comedic and very, very funny, and some of the other movies are quite straight-laced. So how was this going to work? But I think the dynamic was absolutely excellent.
Yeah, and I think that was really the trickiest thing about that was the first day. Because the first day on set, we've got the Guardians, and we know that these movies, excuse me.
Those drugs are kicking in now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, taking.
But particularly Infinity War is such a dark movie, and I love it. It's one of my favorite of all the Marvel movies. But its tone has a darkness to it, and so then to all of a sudden pop the Guardians, 25 minutes into that movie, after we've already seen Thanos, wreak havoc and almost kill Thor, and then to all of a sudden pick up the Guardians and have them not seem like they came from an entirely different movie, was really sort of the trickiest thing. And I think that was tough for that was the challenge for the Russos on that first day, and I think they did a really lovely job.
I think it was absolutely fantastic. And one last question for you. What do you feel was the moment when your character was really defined?
I didn't really understand exactly who Kraglin was really until I saw the first movie. By the time I saw Guardians as it played out, I had a much better sense. We played around a lot with Kraglin in the shooting of the first film. And yeah, so it wasn't until I saw it that I sort of got it. And then in the second movie is when Kraglin really kind of starts to shine. And you know, I think that really the turning point for Kraglin is when he shows up with Yondu's Finn in the jail. That's when you realize who that character really is, and sort of it comes full circle to me that he's a very loyal soldier, and that is the essence of that character. Yeah.
I've got to say, I expected to see you turning up with that Finn maybe a little later as well. Would I have been correct in that assumption or not? You know, later on in sort of when we're looking at Endgame and whatnot, I was expecting you to make an appearance, I've got to say.
Well, you know, we shot a little bit of Kraglin for Endgame that didn't end up in the movie. The idea, I think, was that he blipped out and then came back at the end with everyone. So we shot a little bit in a spaceship that they ended up kind of not going to that part of the battle, so we don't really see him, although apparently Kevin Feige said that Kraglin is in one shot in Endgame in the background, which is funny to me because I missed it if he was in it. But yeah, so I mean, he's there in spirit, at least. He's part of that battle. But I'm hopeful that we have not seen the last of Kraglin yet.
Absolutely, I would have wanted to see more, I can tell you. Though I know we've got you for about 20 minutes, so we don't have you for a huge amount of time. One or two people turned up, didn't they? To hear you. So I wondered, we've got some roaming mics out there, am I right? If I can see past the lights, yes? So if you've got a question that you'd like to ask Sean, then please put your hand up and we can put some more questions to him. Got a question? Yes, that's brilliant.
Was it ever really, really hard shooting with Groot because he wasn't actually kind of there?
That's a good question. Yeah, you know, it was the thing about particularly Baby Groot in the second movie. You know, for the first movie, we had an actor on set to sort of say the lines and to serve as a reference for the character. But for the second film, Baby Groot is so small that yes, we were speaking to nothing. And I think we were very aware that he was going to be stealing the scenes that we were shooting, even though he wasn't there. So I had resentments against Baby Groot before I ever even met him. But you know, you get used to that a little bit, and you know, my brother James is a super prepared director, and so we end up getting to see a lot of animatics and things like that, and storyboards of the scenes that we're shooting. So we have a very strong idea of everything that we're looking at and what's going on in the scene. But yeah, there were. I would have, if he were there, I would have stepped on him more than once, I'm sure.
Are you saying Groot wasn't real?
Oh no.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
1 minute there. Next question, please.
Who was your favourite character to work with, or just generally be around?
And you don't have to say Michael now because he's not here.
Well, he's last on the list, so it's okay. Let's see, my favorite to work with. You know, that's a really hard question because you start to feel like you're a family a little bit when you work on multiple movies with a bunch of different people, and so it's a little bit like, you know, picking a favorite sibling. And I'm one of 6 kids, so I do have many siblings. It's like you don't really have a favorite, but you kind of learn to like and love them all in different ways. But I will say that I had such a great time working with Dave Bautista as Drax, because I got to really see his journey from audition all the way through, you know, now several movies in, just fully embodying that character and being so great. And he's such a warm, lovely human being. So I do have a soft spot for Drax.
Hello. I love the work that you've done in Guardians, but I remember you best from Gilmore Girls many moons ago. What do you think Kurt might be doing now?
Oh, that's good.
That's a good question. I have this feeling that Kirk would be just obsessed with how many followers he had on social media, and he wouldn't have any at all. Like maybe his mom, and maybe somebody would throw him a bone, but he would be really into posting things and getting as many likes as I think. That just seems like something very, very Kirk-like. But God knows he'd certainly be working. He has a lot of jobs, so I'm sure he'd be keeping himself busy. It's weird. It's such a pleasure to work with such great writers, and being able to work with Amy Sherman Palladino and Dan and the other writers on Gilmore Girls was so great. And so I don't think a lot about what Kirk's doing. I like being told what Kirk is doing by the writers, just like you guys like being told from the stories, But I miss Kirk. I'd happily play him anytime.
Hi. What's it like working with your brother, with your own brother?
Honestly, I love working with my brother because he's really good at his job. And it's if he weren't so good, it might be tricky. But he's the oldest the oldest brother, and I'm the youngest brother. So we already had a dynamic of him bossing me around. So him actually being my boss isn't such a stretch for me when I'm on set. And the truth is that we have fun and we joke around a lot, but for the most part, we work together really well because we're both very, very, very focused as professionals. So he's really super hardcore about preparation and about making sure things are just how he wants them. And I'm kind of the same way as an actor. I'm very precise a lot of the times, and I like things to be right. And so does he. So we fit together very nicely. Not too much hazing, fortunately.
Hello. That's really loud. If you could be any one of the Avengers, which one would you be?
Oh gosh. Which one would I be? I mean, I don't know. Everyone loves Captain America, right? But it doesn't seem like the most fun to me to be Captain America. I think I'd like to be Hulk. The tormented one.
After 4 films you filmed, what's been your favourite scene to actually film?
Oh, that's a great question. My favorite scene to film, I think as Kraglin, my favorite scene was probably the scene with Nebula in the second movie where she delivers that long monologue about all the things she's going to do to Thanos. And Kraglin's like, oh, I thought maybe you were talking about a, hat or pretty necklace, I really loved in the first Guardians movie the 12% of a plan scene, which I was shooting as Rocket on set. So, there was something about that scene that made us all really gel as an ensemble, I think, and really understand what the core of that movie was. So I think it was really when we shot that scene, we realized what the essence of the Guardians of the Galaxy was, and that was a really great scene to shoot. But there are so many. I mean, I had a lot of fun shooting in England with Thor we shot it earlier. It ended up being an Endgame, but yeah, that was a heck of a lot of fun too.
Hello, sir. A bit of a crossover question for you. If you had to pick any character from Gilmore Girls and put them in the MCU,
okay,
which one would it be, and what job would they be doing?
Well, I definitely wouldn't put Kirk out there because I think that he would be killed and probably eaten very quickly. I think that you'd need somebody tough, So put him out in the MCU. So I think that I would put Emily Gilmore out there probably. And I'm sure that she'd do a great job ruling a battalion of aliens. It was quite popular, and I was terrific in it, by the way. Oh God, what do we got? Yeah, I know. You should always shoot like that, Rooker.
Michael Rooker, everyone. Michael, great to see you. Great to see you.
What's that? Hello, hello. Testing. Okay, good. It's my Yandu whistle. That wasn't very funny. That wasn't funny. I agree. It wasn't funny. I'm not a joker like Sean Gunn. Sean Gunn's a joker guy. I'm not a joker guy, right?
No, you're very.
The comedian type people, yeah?
You were a thespian.
I call them joker guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a joker guy. Do you adjust when you sit?
Yeah.
I know, I have to adjust when I sit.
I'm getting older too.
Especially on these low sofas.
Well, you've been asking questions, or are you taking questions?
We are literally in the middle of taking questions. I think there may be one or two people
Let's get
out
something
there
for Rooker.
with a question.
I don't need any questions. You don't have to ask me questions.
There is a person at the back, they may explode if they don't get that question out. They are literally waving their arms
Maybe,
like this.
yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
where you at? Where the
I
hell are you?
was- I'm good. Oh, sorry, hi.
Oh, God. You're way back there?
Yeah.
Holy sh... Okay, go ahead. What's your question?
So Guardians of the Galaxy has like such an iconic soundtrack.
It does.
If you get to listen to one
That
of
was
the
a question.
songs- Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah, okay. I ain't seen the movie. Is it good? It's iconic, right?
Yeah, so if you had to listen to one on repeat, what
Uh-huh.
song would you pick?
I don't listen to music.
That's so sad though.
Yeah, I know. I'm a sad guy.
So the question is, we take all these songs that we love,
Yeah.
and we have to choose one of them to listen to it until we hate it.
Yeah, that's right. No, you listen to it until you go to sleep.
Oh, until I go to sleep.
Yeah, on repeat.
Yeah.
Which one would you do on repeat, babe?
Yeah.
Probably
What? Hurry!
probably Moon Age Daydream.
What-
David Bowie.
How does that go? I don't even know how the hell that goes.
Do do do, I'm an alligator. Do do do.
You put that shit on repeat?
Bowie.
David who? Is he British?
Yeah, are you joking?
What are you talking about? I'm not no joker.
Not a joker guy.
I'm not a joker guy.
I'm just glad
I
you
don't know
sung
how
it.
to even joke.
I'm just glad you sung
You
it,
are-
didn't whistle it, because people die.
I don't even know a joke. I'm a sad person. I don't know a single, I know one joke. How does a cow defend itself?
No idea.
Cow-waddy. I know, you don't really get it at first.
But you milk it for all it's worth.
It's one of those jokes. It's a very cerebral, it kind of messes with your head, right? We got some, come here. Here, let me help you. This guy is, girl.
Keep these runners fit, you know.
Look, come here, give me that shit. Come here. Okay, we're gonna ask questions in stereo here. Go ahead, buddy. What's your question?
Your character was
What about it?
a very striking blue colour.
It was.
If you could have had a different colour, if you were forced to, what would you have picked? Would it be bright pink or yellow?
I have a pair of pink Capizios in my closet. I like striking pink. My first racing bike was pink. you guys think I'm joking, but that's not a joker. I'm not a joker. I like pink. How you doing, dude?
Nothing wrong with pink.
I know, I love it, man. It's great. It's a bright color. It makes you feel good. It's a very calming color. This is very true. It's a chill color. So what's your question?
I would have said that Yondu had probably a really perfect ending, but if you had to change it at all, what would you change, aside from dying?
Besides dying? I mean, that would be my big change.
It's always a good move.
Okay, girl, what's your question? Okay, wait till I get there. Wait, hold on. Okay, how'd you get those scratches on your knees there? Yeah. Okay, go ahead, hon.
Have either of you ever taken...
Stand up. You look, yeah, there, turn around, look at the camera. Go ahead, over here. Okay, what's your question?
Have either of you ever taken anything from any of the sets?
I don't take anything. Oh, like taking anything. Oh, I thought you were talking about taking stuff. No, I have no idea where the Yondu fin went. And I have no idea where the knife hand. I don't know where that thing went.
Oh, the knife hand, yeah.
Yeah. Do you take stuff? Sean?
I don't. I get that question a lot, but I'm like,
people,
I'm at work. Do you steal stuff from work?
yeah.
I guess yes.
I mean, right?
I guess a lot of people do.
I mean, is it called? Would it be called stealing? It sort of feels like it belongs to you, right? Hello. Ooh, this one's bigger. Hey, hi, honey. You got a question? What's your question? Huh?
Because you be impressed your character, your act. What your character you be impressed.
Hi. Hi, dozo. Mushi. What else do I know in Japanese? I like my character. Was it impressive? I agree. What's your name? May? May? Like the anime. Like anime? Anime May? You're anime May. You're very famous. That was a wonderful question. Thank you. What you got, baby? Go ahead. Spill the beans.
Did you prefer Walking Dead or Guardians of the Galaxy?
I don't prefer it either. I made more money on Guardians. Yeah, Walking Dead they were cheap. AMC was very cheap. That's probably why they killed me off, because they knew I was going to get more money the next season.